Hey guys, Amanda here. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Peer to Peer. This is my podcast. I'm Amanda from Foster Decor Consulting. I'm super excited you're here because I have a lot of juicy tips that are sure to help your interior or e-design business. If you have any special requests, feel free to email me or DM me for topic ideas. I'm super excited to learn what the community needs help with, as that's what I do, is help my interior and e-design peers. If you have any questions, feel free to also ask away so we can also get to know each other and connect. Super excited you're tuning in. Thank you so much.
All right. Hey guys, Amanda here from Foster Decor Consulting, and we have an exciting episode on Peer to Peer. We have a very special guest today, the awesome Stephanie Costello from Rumble Interiors. Say hi, Stephanie.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, so I really want to dive into what's special about this episode today. Today we are talking all things about my favorite service, the VIP Intensive. So let's just jump into it. And Stephanie, what was your experience like with the VIP Intensive?
I laugh because it was horrible and amazing all at the same time. I mean that in the best way possible. It was frustrating. I would get mad. And then it was amazing. And then I would get mad and pissed off again. And then it was amazing. Mainly, user error with how my brain works and how I download information.
What was frustrating? Why were you so frustrated sometimes during it?
Because I wrote this freaking thing out 4 times. And each time I would hit some random button on my computer and deleted the whole thing. So I would have to start all over
technical difficulty.
Yeah, and just being able to dig deep is, I guess I didn't know what I was getting into when I was going to do branding. I didn't realize I was going to have to go that far down in myself and pull out some stuff that I knew was there, but I guess I just didn't want to admit or want the hassle of trying to get to where my goal really, really is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to stay in one spot.
Oh, right. I mean, I ask everybody what their niche is, and they're like, "Oh, I'm an interior designer." It's like it's not a niche. There's thousands, millions of us out there. So how do we really identify? Well, I'm an interior designer who specializes in this, and I serve that, and this is my style. I mean, there's so many layers to, a better brand and business. So what did you kind of come out after doing it several times, technical difficulties aside? But I remember we were talking back and forth, via Messenger, and you're like, you know what, each time that I'm doing this, I'm getting more. And this is exactly what I ask my clients. I ask my, homeowner clients, to give me more. I can't read your minds, dig deeper. So you actually now were in that hot seat.
I was. Yeah, it was. What did I figure out? Where do I start? So much. Where do you want me to start with that?
Well, we could even just touch on what was the most challenging part first and just see.
I think
because it is an intensive. That's why it's called that.
Yeah.
This is an intense kind of thing.
The writing and, the brain dumping. Initially, my brain dumping process is a couple of words. And I remember I sent you my whole thing, and I some things I didn't answer. Some things were one word or a sentence, and you're like, "Are you joking? Are you taking this seriously? You're not even trying." And I was like, "Ah!"
I know I'm a hard.
I got in trouble a little bit, but hindsight, that's just my process, and I should have never, sent any of that to you. It's just I had to go through and start being okay, what does this really mean? What is it that I really want to do? And it's funny because circle back around to when I first started, I ended up back to my original idea I had when I first started interior design, is that I wanted to be an interior design for rock stars and boutique hotels. And, as you're going through and working, you're just well, that's never going to happen. I can't possibly have that dream. It's too big. It's too far out there. But now I don't have that attitude anymore. So that's a big plus, is I'm okay, no, this is exactly what I am going to be doing. So allowing myself to dream as big as I wanted to was actually challenging. I didn't think it would be, but because saying it and thinking it and saying out loud, you know, you say things out loud to the universe and you're going to get them. So be careful what you ask for. And I'm totally asking for that now. So now I'm like, oh God, okay, it's going to happen. I'm scared and nervous and excited about that. Because, you know, and then I think you said something to me like, well, how many clients do you need? And it's like, oh, I guess I only need like 2 or 3 a year. Like, it's not like I'm out there and I need 12 a day, like as a hairstylist or something. But so just allowing myself to admit what I really wanted, I think was probably the hardest part.
Yes. And that is the number one thing. And that's one of the things that I do mention at the very beginning, because you have the video to watch and the worksheets, and it's kind of trying to tell you this is our chance to dream big, you know, let's wave that magic wand and just be kids and think about what are all the fun things that we love and what lights us up. And that should be a part of your business and your brand. So it shouldn't just be back burner that you're like, you know, just it won't happen. Our brains are kind of our enemy, because they want to, you know, do doubt. Self-doubt is a big one, and nope, you can't do it. And they want to keep you safe, but you have to say, thank you, brain, for trying to keep me safe. But you know, like, change is happening. Like, I need this. I want this. So I'm really excited that after a few times, you know, sorry about the technical difficulties, but you were able to really come back to what is in your heart, what's in your roots of like, wow, I really want to design for this. Like, when did that actually happen? Like, how many years ago were you really feeling that and thinking about that?
5.
Ah, okay. Cool. Yay. I'm so excited. I love this. This is why the VIP Intensive has that brand and business clarity, because at the end of it, you're like, you know what? Like, this has been inside me. I'm pulling it out of you.
Yeah.
It's always
you definitely
been there.
did that.
So we kind of tapped on this a little bit, but it was beneficial kind of going back to those worksheets and kind of, you know, expanding each time, writing a bit more. I was telling you, like, treat it like a diary entry, you know, and then once that happens, I mean, what was kind of flowing out of you?
Well, my dream
besides
avatar
frustration.
the kind of client I want, the amount of money that I want to make, where I want to work, who I want to work with, who I don't want to work with, what style I want to do, what style I don't want to do. I mean, all of those things definitely flushed to the surface, you know, each time. And I would think the first time I wrote it, I'd be like, yeah, I like that, but no, I'm not going to put that down. And then the second time I'd be like, no, I think, okay, I'll put that one down. And then it finally came, and then I was like, why are you having such a hard time admitting what you actually want to do? Like, what is there? There was some sort of blockage there. And I think that's probably common for a lot of people in a lot of different situations, but it helped me to, you know, push everything to the surface. And when I had to do it, you know, I took it as kind of like the universe saying, woman, you're not being honest here. You could do better than what you were trying to do. And so each time it totally helped me. And, you know, I never thought that I could say no to anybody. It just didn't seem right, because I need to make money. And, you know, I think a lot of people think that, especially in the beginning. And if I would have never gone through this process, I'd still be doing whatever anybody came to. Now I'm going to be like, oh, that doesn't really fit me or my business, which is kind of exciting. Not kind of, very.
Yes, because you don't need to take everybody anymore. No. Like, in your business currently, you're beyond that point. I don't think you desperately need to take every single client and every single style. Like, I mean, even if you are just starting in your business, I always recommend not to do that. But I understand for more of the newbies who are like, well, I kind of want to, like, I don't really know my style yet, but I kind of want to, you know, learn.
And that, I think that was me. Like, I had to go through some different design styles, because I was always kind of taught or told to be a designer for everybody.
Right.
It's not about my style, it's about their style. So I can, yes, I can design for anybody. And sure, can I? Yeah, I guess. Am I going to get joy and really rock it? No, not going to.
Yay! I'm so glad you said that, because I always talk about do not be that chameleon, do not be that schizophrenic, like, okay, I'm going to be this day and that day. And I don't know, I've never done that style, but I'll learn, and it's like being a jack of all trades isn't always the best thing for your time, like you said, and it's just what really fills your cup at the end of the day. It's just like I was doing farmhouse and traditional and beige and grayish. I was just like, no, I can do it. And then I'm just so like burnt out by the end of it. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate this. It's like, wait, this is my business, right? Like, shouldn't I control who I say, I work with and don't work with? So it's very powerful to have the mindset, right, through this experience, to know that you are the CEO of your own brand, your own business. You can decide who you work with and who you don't work with. Because I think there was a project that you had that you were like, I'm not even going to get this photographed because, I don't even want to share it. And it's just like, well, then why are you doing it?
I get it now.
No. Well, I mean, it's just there for you, people who come to me who want that logo, who want that website. It's like, wait a second, we have a lot more work to do before, we get to that.
Yeah.
So this is all just to help you at the end of the day. And I hope by the end of this, you found a lot of clarity, and a lot of benefits to it. So it was beneficial, and it was almost kind of cathartic too, and just very, eye-opening. So let's talk about, did you have any of those aha moments?
Okay.
This experience? And
I had a lot.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just gonna go through them. So allowing myself to speak my truth was a big one. Not holding back what my absolute dream of being an interior designer is, and being able to say it out loud instead of just, it was way back in my head. I had to push it forward and speak it out my mouth. Realizing, and you've said this in the beginning, and then I kind of keep going back and forth, but I'm also a Feng Shui interior designer, so realizing that is a good part of my niche that I should push forward. Plus I'm also a medium and I do Reiki, so if I can like kind of push all that together and do interior design, that's a cool niche. Figuring out what my total design style is. Like, I have a lot of things that I like, but my three main things was a good thing. The kind of clients I don't want to work with, that was kind of a big aha for me, as far as who are these people that I want. And I was able to flush that to the surface too, as far as what I didn't want and what I do want. So that was cool. The fact that I really only need 2 to 3 clients a year, like when that was that just clicked in your brain. I was like, oh my God, of course I don't need, like, you can have little fillers right here and there, but design projects, if they're the caliber that I'm going to take, I can't take more than 2 or 3 a year anyway. Traveling, I really want to be a traveling interior designer, so I want to be able to have a broad reach basically throughout the whole United States. So I want to be able to go to them, and I don't really care where they are. I'd really like them to be in Santa Fe, but other places are cool too. Being okay releasing control to you of like what my logo looks like and what the colors are and the branding, and we've talked about this, like I think you probably know me better than most people now. So if you can't get this right, then it's not going to
be better than your husband, right?
Being able to open up and allow someone who has an eye for what you do. I'm not a graphic designer. I am not a website maker. I don't know how to do any of that. And so being able to give the, control, there's a huge theme of control here, giving up control.
So you're referencing when I did the audit. Part of the VIP intensive is that audit, and I'm looking at your social media. I'm giving you some criticism and feedback, and you could do this instead, and same for your website. So I don't mean to be negative, but at the same time, I want to give you guys constructive feedback of like, this is how you probably are losing a lot of people. You might be, talking generally to everybody on your site and on your social media and whatever, but you're also losing them. You think by including everyone, you're going to get more, you're repelling because no one's resonating with that website or that copy or that social media post. Who is it speaking to?
Yeah, exactly. And let's see, just be, once again, control, being able to let go and trust the process. And I'm reading what I wrote, and it's like, now I am in putty in your hands. Like, you can just, whatever you want. I'm not changing my name. I love the name of my business, but I'm open to like many other things. So yeah, I think I had a lot of aha moments, and there's probably more that I can't even think of, but those are the main ones.
Okay, good. Because I think some people are nervous about, kind of letting go and giving into the process. I mean, everyone is, but by the end of it, you have more clarity, and more appreciation of like your time and where your business can head and just life in general. There's a lot of things that I do challenge you guys about, but it's all just really to benefit you and your business at the end of the day. It's not about me, I promise you.
Well, your business is your baby, right? I grew this from scratch, so I'm very possessive over it. So to allow somebody to like say, give me your baby, I'm going to raise it for a year now. You're like, no, that's my baby. You can't have it. So building the trust and learning what you do and all the fabulous stuff you got going on, I'm like, okay, she can have my baby.
Yeah. Because I mean, let's touch on that a little bit. Like, what were you specifically struggling with before the VIP intensive?
Well, I didn't have a niche at all. And I think I don't know that I knew that was a struggle, but it was. And allowing myself to sit in the power that I actually have instead of trying to put my power in things that aren't my strength, like cozy cabin vibe. Not my strength because I don't like it. So it's hard for me to do that kind of work, not being able to say no to projects. I'd say yes to pretty much everything. Now, I did have a lot of projects that were great, but there are some that I'm just like, should have never taken that. And not allowing myself to fully dive into what my design style is, like, because I've always been told you have to be for everybody, that I didn't want to actually put out what my design style was, because I thought that would deflect people. But in reality, I want it to deflect people because I don't want everybody as a client. I want these 2 or 3 people every year. And spending money on my business, I think, has always been a I don't know. That's just a
why do you think that?
Money has a weird hold on me. It always has. It's something I'm constantly working on, but to put that kind of money into myself, which is my business, just, I don't know, scary. I don't have a real good reason. I think it just it's way deeper than that. But, and I've done other things like for my business, but having, control. It's control.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably stemmed with control there.
It's
and
control.
Letting go. And
Yeah, that's probably it.
But another interesting thing that came up during the VIP intensive in your questionnaire was the hairdresser thing, and that being, you still cut hair, right? But for a long time, you were, more of like a full-time stylist. And that also taught you to not share. You mentioned that, to not talk about yourself.
Yes.
And so that's why I think this was hard for you, that it's been ingrained. I mean, how many years have you been cutting hair and having to be that hairdresser that is quiet and just asks the questions and lets the other person talk?
Yeah, I've been doing hair for 33 years, and the whole time, especially when I was learning, is you don't talk about yourself. You do not talk about yourself. You do not talk about your family. You don't talk about your kids. It's all about the client. And so when I actually have to like share about myself, I'm like, nobody wants to know that. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to know, that. So it is harder for me to like, okay, you got to like take the hairdresser hat off and put on the learning interior designer hat and so yeah, that was difficult. And I never thought about how those two things connected. It's interesting. Yeah. So that was another aha moment.
So yeah, the hairdresser thing, and then just, giving up control also, and then not sharing, all those things were really making it hard. And I can see why now, the frustration of like trying to open up when you've been taught, wait, I'm a chameleon, it's not about me for interior design. And then, wait, I was a hairdresser and I don't really talk much about myself. Those are like really butting heads. So, I'm glad that we also work on kind of mindset too throughout this process to really help, like, wait, why is this happening? Why are you struggling? Without even knowing, right? Because you thought you were fine before.
Oh yeah.
Like, wait, actually no. Like, there's all these things that
so many life lessons I wasn't expecting to get out of this.
I know. And then you even said, like, you're gonna know me, or more than my partner.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, but light at the tunnel out of all of that. Like, what have you learned after, watching those recordings that I did, kind of breaking down your worksheets, breaking down the questionnaire, doing the audit of your social media and your website? There's got to be some good gold kernels there, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I now know what my niche is completely. I now know what style I want to do completely. It's okay not to take everybody, and not having to compromise who I am at my core just to make money.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. And like I said before, I think for me, I had to go through all of that because I hate to say that. I think I always knew what my design style was. I just was scared to make it known because I didn't want to scare off everybody. And if I truly be myself, I will scare off a shit ton of people. And I've realized that is okay. I'm not for everybody, and that's great. I don't want to be for everybody. And just a side note with your design style, like, your design style isn't really crazy, to be honest. It is definitely more out there than farmhouse or traditional, but trust me, we're not as individualized as we think. We're not those little snowflakes that we believe we truly are, and no one else would possibly like X or Y like I do. Like, honestly, there are other Amandorks out there. There's maybe not like, millions of us, but there's thousands, And if you think of like, wait, if you had 1,000 clients that you could work with, that's a shit ton of people. Like, that's how many can you really like take on in a year, in a week, in a month? Like, so your style is layered and I love it. And we'll talk more about it later, but that's just something I want to bust right now with that myth that nobody else likes the style I like. And it's like, no, there's a lot. And it doesn't even matter what style it is. I promise you there are others that, vibe with it for sure. What else did I learn? I learned that I need somebody strong to push me, because if you were a weak woman, we would not get along.
I'd be like, okay, it's fine. I'm like, girl, you fucking do that again.
Yeah, exactly. I cannot. So I'm a strong, bold person. So if you're not strong and bold back to me, I will not respect you and I will not listen to what you have to say. So
I think I called you a teenager. I was like, you're like my teenager client with like skipping questions, putting one word answer. Like, I could just picture you like, duh, like, I don't have a niche, okay? Like, no, we're doing this. Go back, go to your room, redo it.
Yep, I know. Well, and now I feel like I can, fly my design flag proudly of what I am and what I do and, the kind of clients that I want to have. So all the things that I've been working on that have come to the surface, I want to scream it now to everybody.
Yes. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very appreciative that I was like, I'm gonna be a bitch right now, but you have to do this again. All right.
Yep.
But then after, I think it was like later that day, you're like, you know what? I'm getting so much out of this the second time. And that you volunteered to do it even a third time. It was just like, okay, cool, good. I'm glad you're getting more out of it.
Yeah. I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm excited to write about this now. Like once the gates unlocked and I was like, okay, go ahead, Stephanie, put it all out on paper, what you really, really want. And then it was just like, bleh.
I think you were maybe holding back like 33 years of pent up, not necessarily frustration or anything, but just, you know, you've had to be not guarded, but just like, okay, I don't talk about myself. It's about the client for interiors and hairdresser. And just that leaves you like not speaking about you, not really putting, you know, yourself out there and your ideas. And there's so much going on in the back burner that it's like, no, we got to put that out. You know, we got to learn more about you and your preferences. And I think that probably scared you. Like, wait, me? Like, you want to know what like, no one wants to hear my story. It's like, no, we do. Like, you are one of the coolest people for e-design, interior design that I have met. And you know that from our little group we had years ago, that I cherry picked all the cool kids and you were one of them. It was like Ocean's 8, you know, with all the women. That was our crew.
I love, everybody, that's kind of true. Yeah.
Okay, so after all of this, I mean, would you recommend this for other business owners out there?
Are you fucking kidding me?
E-designers, interior designers out there?
I think everybody needs to do this.
Yeah.
Everybody. It helps you get to the bottom of what is truly going to bring you joy, right? And realizing that your business is actually about you and what you want. You get to make all the choices yourself, just like you're saying. This is my business. I get to do it how I want to. And I was always feeling like I had to do it for other people, not for myself. And you made it fun. Like, you're fun to be around and fun to talk to. So that's cool. And you push. And I think that anybody could use that. I don't care if you've been an interior designer for 20 years or 5 years. Branding is not something that I even thought about when I think you kind of casually along the way end up with a brand, whether you knew you were doing it or not. But knowing that my brand is me, and what I can bring to my business is big, and having somebody to help you bring that out of you, and you pull, and you push and push and push. And I think that anybody who has a mediocre business or are scared to put themselves out there, you make it feel like it's comfortable and the right thing to do. If that makes any sense.
Yes. Love that. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you did this and I convinced you to do it. Because I hate when people just want to rush over to just the website or just the logo, you know, and it's just like there's so much. I guess I'm more of a like I go at it as like a more holistic approach of like, well, let's start from the beginning, you know, all the steps that you skipped, because people want at the end of the day, they want a website that can give them more clients. And it's like, well, right now your website's not speaking to anybody. So let's go back, you know, to the drawing board and kind of see why. Like, who are we actually trying to target? So there's all these marketing things that we learn through this experience that I think you're way up to speed on now. But let's rewind a bit and now talk about how we met years ago.
Well, if my memory serves me, it was COVID, right?
Yeah.
And you had, I don't know, you must have gone through Instagram and picked out, I don't know if there was 7 of us or maybe there was more than that, 8 of us. And you asked us to, I can't even remember how you put it, but it was like,
we did bi-weekly design challenges.
Bi-weekly design, yes. So we would do mood boards on Photoshop, which I had to learn how to use while we were doing that. So that was cool. for kind of something fun to do, and you gave us themes of different themes. So we had like Sex and the City, we had Halloween, we had Christmas, we had
Friends.
Yeah. And so that gave us something to do during COVID, and then we all shared each other's stuff. Yeah, that was really fun. I still look back at those mood boards and I'm like, God, I can't even believe I made those. They're pretty cool. Yeah, it was super fun. It was fun.
And I loved your style. That's how, you know, I came across your profile, because you had like Southwestern, maximalist, sometimes a little Feng Shui, and I was just like, whoa, like there were not very many maximalist designers in that group.
No,
so you really stuck out, and it was amazing. Like, now let's talk about that style. Like, how would you describe it? You know, is it more maximalist at the heart of it, or more Southwestern?
It's more eclectic.
Yeah.
With layers of Southwestern and maximalist in there. I mean, maximalist covers a lot of things, right? It's just put a whole bunch of shit out there purposefully. Right?
I think there's a bit of glam in your.
There is a bit of glam.
It's like rock glam.
Yeah.
Rock glam.
Rock glam. I like that. But Southwestern, remember that picture I sent you? It was like gold and brown and fur and black leather. And I was just like, and it wasn't even colorful, but I was just like, God, I love that. I love rich textures, patterns. I love to, I don't like matchy. I don't even like necessarily balance. I know that that's a part of interior design, but I don't like rules.
I'm huge on asymmetry, you know, like make it asymmetrical.
Asymmetry, yeah. And I understand, learn the rules and then you can break them, of course. I learned a lot of stuff like that in design school, but I don't like to follow trends. I just like to use what I like. I love to use people's collections and people's stuff and people's things that they have hidden in boxes that they've collected but they don't know what to do with. Like that just turns me on. So layered, like I would, and Feng Shui, of course, which I'm gonna focus on putting more of that out there as well. Kind of Feng Shui doesn't have to be just minimalistic, right? You can be a maximalist and still have Feng Shui going on in your house.
Really? Okay. Because I mean, I haven't tapped that much into Feng Shui, so I'd love to learn more. And I kind of do want to ask you more about the Feng Shui, because there were little moments of it before. And then in the worksheets, it was like, why isn't this more a part of your style? Like this, like you can actually pay more or get paid more for having this specialty. Because I'm someone who's like, I don't understand any of it, but I'm interested and I want to pay you. Like, teach me, you know, give me a little course, like a little rundown. And like, I just thought like, this is such a cool thing that means a lot to you that hasn't been really addressed. Like you're afraid to let people know because you don't think that they would appreciate it or like it or jive with it. But somebody who's an outsider would, like me, is just like, no, that's cool. Like, I want to learn more.
Yeah, Feng Shui. And I don't think of Feng Shui as a design style. So when I was trying to like, what's your style? Feng Shui isn't a design style. It's a way of living, I guess. And it's a living, breathing vision board for your home.
Oh, okay.
So you use your home as your vision board. And there's 9 sections. There's different kinds of Feng Shui. I do what's called black hat. And it's from your front door. There's 9 sections of your house. You split it up into 9 sections, and each section represents different areas of your life. So your whole home is a reflection of absolutely everything that goes on in your life. So for instance, I went to somebody's house yesterday and she was talking about her love life. And I said, well, let's go look at your love section of your home. And we went in there and it was a disaster. And so I kind of told her, you know, a couple of things to do. And, you know, I could see why your love life is a disaster just by looking at this room. And she, like at 2:00 in the morning last night, she completely redid the whole room with everything that I told her. And I was like, well, how do you feel? She's like, this is the most amazing this room has ever felt. And I'm like, God, I really need to get this out there. So you can do any style with Feng Shui. It doesn't matter.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I love that. No, I mean, we should have a whole podcast on that. Like, that would be really exciting.
There's a lot to go. You know, it's funny. I used to have a podcast. I had a podcast called "What the Fuck is Feng Shui," and I probably had like 8 episodes, and I just was like, I kind of fizzled out on it. But
no, like, that is the best title. Like, oh, you just get cooler and cooler. Well, speaking of trends, I always like asking about, what trends are you following? And I love your answer, which is none. But then that
I'm not a
doesn't give us
trend
much to
follower.
talk about.
But I did say, whatever's going on at CB2 right now is rocking my world.
Ooh.
Everything in that, and I actually made 2 mood boards, kind of like we used to do back in the day. Off of it, just because I love everything they've got going on in there. It's so edgy and different and bold. Yeah. Oh, it's just.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah.
It looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, wow. The
a lot
black
of texture,
velvet.
a lot of fur. Yeah, a lot of velvet. I love it.
Nice. Oh man, they rock. Like, they seriously rock. Oh, okay. I'm gonna close it out. But I was just curious, like, wait, what is she talking about? So really cool. It almost looks a little bewitching, their fall line right now.
Yeah.
With like the dark velvets and the maroons and florals and dead leaves and stuff. It's like, we got a witch vibe here.
And Gwyneth Paltrow has her own line. Gwyneth Paltrow has her own line with CB2. I'm like, I mean, I'm no Gwyneth Paltrow, but I want my own line with CB2.
I can see that.
Yeah, let's get me that, okay?
Yes. Okay, so do you have 2 projects that you're working on, or 1 project that you want to share with us? So we know what kind of projects you do.
Yeah, I have 2 projects I'm working on right now. One is a full gut remodel because they had a flood. So, and we have to go through insurance. So that's taking a long time, but it's cozy cabin.
Oh no.
So I'm working with my design partner on it, and she's kind of the general contractor and I'm the designer, and it's still going to be pretty. Not my, I'm really pushing them. Like, I got them to agree to wallpaper. I got them to agree to like some chandeliers. So I think it might be something I'll photograph and like little vignette parts of it. I think will be cool. And then my other project is basically they hired me as a consultant. It's a 2-year project it's a 1913 Craftsman home that they have completely gutted down to the studs. Whoa. And these people have wackadoo taste, and I love it. Like, we've got taxidermy giraffe. We've got, each room kind of has a different theme, which I love. I don't think whole homes have to all flow together. I love the idea of opening up a door and just being like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, and then shutting it, and like, then you walk in. So each room is kind of different. It has the front room is, has some flow, but all the other rooms that have closed doors, you're going to walk in and have a totally different vibe in each. It's like a themed house almost. So I'm just there to make sure that they don't do anything ugly or stupid, and pick out all the wallpaper and the paint and the furniture. And so they're really fun. They're like my ideal client. They're my ideal client. Yeah.
Okay, so cool.
It's going to be a super fun project in the end. And then
what is their style, or is it just like,
what's their style? Eclectic.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, everything from Pee Wee Herman to
that's how I describe my house.
Giraffes to weird monkey lights that are hanging on a rope.
Nice. The World Market wallpaper.
What's that?
The World Market ones.
I don't know where they came from. They showed them to me. They're like, we love these. We're going to buy them. I was like, ooh, that's for the jungle bathroom. There's a jungle bathroom. There's a jungle parlor. There's wallpaper everywhere. One of the bathrooms in the niche in the shower is hot pink tile with alien wallpaper, little spaceships that's hot pink and white. Oh, it's so cool.
You have to send me photos. Like,
Oh yeah,
this sounds amazing.
it's gonna be so cool. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. Well, is there anyone you want to do a shout out to as we wrap up and say hi to your friends, your family, other interior designers?
Well, I'm always going to say hi to my collective girls because they are what keep me grounded, and always go to them for advice. And they have been my mentors, Renee and Sam, all the way through all of this. And I couldn't even do any of this without them. They have been amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, how can people get in touch with you, find you?
Oh my God. I mean, I'm everywhere. So Rumble Interiors on Instagram, rumbleinteriors.com. Don't go to my website yet, though. Let's wait till Amanda gets it fixed.
Till I fix it. Well, they could go to it just so they can see the before.
Yeah,
and if they want to
let's go to it now so you can see the before and after. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, all Rumble Interiors, Pinterest, Rumble Interiors.
Nice.
Everywhere.
And
yeah.
Definitely check her out because, again, like years ago during COVID, she stood out. I loved your work, and I mean that sincerely. And that's why I was just like, you're hanging out with us. You're like, cool. Just cool. I was like, she's the cool one. We got her, guys. We got her.
Oh my God. I don't ever look at myself as cool, so that's kind of fun.
You are the coolest. Well, I really appreciate you being, very collaborative through the VIP intensive. I mean, at the end of the day, this is not for me. This is for you. And you are your ROI, which I say all the time. And you got so much out of it. And I'm just very thankful that you were, so willing to do the work that I told you during the recording. I was like, this is the funnest VIP intensive I've done in years. And I've done
I love that. Thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Peer to Peer, an amazing episode with Stephanie Costello from Rumble Interiors. Honestly, please check her out. Go to rumblesinteriors.com. Rumble Interior at, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Find her. She is amazing. Thank you guys.
Feel free to reach out with any questions anytime. I'm super excited to always get to know my community of e-designers and interior designers. If you have any topic requests, be sure to also send those my way. I'm super excited to create episodes that are going to help you guys, my peers. So peer to peer, thanks again.